A few of my most treasured gifts that I have ever received or even given to some of my friends and my family members have been the ones that have been made with the most intention. Now, I want you guys to go pour a cup of tea. We're gonna have a conversation about some of these gifts that are not only so convenient and fairly easy to make, but they're not gonna end up being re-gifted. Although I will say, I do hope that the recipe does. Oh, this is a very, very beautiful tea. We're gonna brew some up, and I think we might talk a little bit about this one, or I might share something with you guys later towards the end of this video. But what's going on, friends? Welcome back to the Honeystead. We're up in the Apothecary. My name is Kaylee. We're gonna sit down and have a little conversation because I know that this time of year can be so stressful, especially when you are trying to find that right gift for that right person. And sometimes that right gift for that right person is nothing that you can buy. Believe me, we have many of those here on our multi-generational homestead. But I'm actually doing this video solo because there's a lot of gifts that I am making for my family, for my mom and for my daughter. But before we get started, while this tea is doing the thing, I do want to say a special thanks to our sponsor, which is Birch Living, for sponsoring this video. Over the years, for my health journey, one of the biggest things that I realized that I needed to really focus on was sleep. I would wake up multiple times a night, and although I have formulated some beautiful tea blends, which we're going to talk a little bit about today, I found that my mattress was my main culprit. So I started down this deep dive of trying to find the perfect mattress, and Birch Living was the one that I decided to order from. Now, Birch Living makes organic mattresses that are free from any polyurethane foam that could potentially off-gas while I am sleeping on it. They're made out of organic material like wool or a natural latex. And although that was one of the initial selling points for me choosing the Birch Living mattress, I quickly found that unboxing it and sleeping on it that night, I think that was my main game changer. I wasn't waking up multiple times. I wasn't waking up in pain. I slept sound. And another thing that I quickly noticed was I wasn't waking up overheated. Unlike my previous mattress, where I just felt like I was waking up and I was just so hot. That's the one good thing about wool, is a wool mattress really does help balance your body temperature. Since I've had many of you reach out to me after purchasing a Birch Living mattress and sharing your feedback with me about your sleep and kind of the similar stories that I was facing, Birch Living is offering a Cyber Monday extended exclusive partner offer where you can get 27% off site-wide. You can visit the link that I have pinned in the comment, or you can go ahead and scan this QR code and it'll automatically take you there. And if any of you have been on the hunt for a good mattress, I would definitely check them out. So thank you, Birch Living, for sponsoring this video and listening to me over the last couple of years, sharing. Now, when it comes to that special someone that, you know, a homemade gift just is going to mean so much more than something that you can get at the store. I always tell people to kind of start with the person that they're thinking of. You don't want to make a tea blend for someone who doesn't like tea, or maybe you could do a little sample pack if they just don't know. Now, for my family, these are some of the gifts that I have put together. So I'm gonna tell mom or my daughter or my son's girlfriend, don't watch, okay? Turn this off right now. But there are a few gifts that I very much love to make. One of the very first ones, and I think this is probably the easiest, The women in my life, including myself, so I even make one extra for me, we all love a good bath soak, okay? Like there's something about getting a good cup of tea, sitting in the bath, lighting a candle, and just like, you know, decompressing. And so I grabbed 4 ingredients to create multiple of these pint-sized jars of a bath soak, bath salt. Now this has 3 of my favorite herbs that I love to use in the bathtub. It has lavender, which is going to, one, just promote this overall relaxation. You know, when I talk about herbal medicine, I share all the different ways that you could potentially use them. So one of the ways of using herbal medicine is not only soaking in it, but also the benefit of being able to breathe in the herbs. So lavender, one, it relaxes you. And lavender is perfect for breathing in to help promote relaxation. Plus, your skin is gonna feel so beautiful afterwards. Another one that I love to put in here is rose. Rose petal, again, I use rose in many of my gifts that I share, but adding in the rose petal not only adds more of a floral note, again, it's also very good for your skin. It's very nourishing. And then the other flower, the other herb that we have in here is calendula. Again, great for your skin, and combined together and then added in a good quality Epsom salt is so perfect for this time of year. So I made multiple, okay, like put a whole bunch together because I'm gifting them to some of my loved ones, including myself. But that is a perfect place to start for somebody who loves a good bath soaking. I'll also add that if you're a little nervous about having any of the flowers go down your drain, there are a few things that you can do. One, you can actually make a very strong pot of water and add your ingredients directly into that water and then strain it out and add your water to your bath. That is easy to do. Or you can get a little strainer that sits over top of your drain for your bathtub. Another option is using an unbleached cheesecloth. You can get cheesecloth and just pour in your herbs and tie it up, or you can get these little tea bags. This one's a small one. I actually have bigger ones too that you can pour in all your ingredients. I do have a whole list of things on my Amazon storefront, and I think these were on there, possibly even the bigger ones. But these are a few simple tricks that you could do to, oh my gosh, make sure that your flowers don't necessarily go down your drain. The other good thing about this, it smells so good. You don't even need to add essential oils. That's how good it smells. Now, I've done this. I have used eucalyptus and Epsom salt together. I've used a little bit of peppermint in this with Epsom salt, but I think my favorite is probably the wonderful flower power combination. Maybe that's what we're gonna call it, flower power. Another homemade gift that is so easy to do. And I know I talked about this in one of my last videos, but I'm not too sure that I shared this one with you guys. But before we get too far in on this, I did want to share that I'm doing a free live class that is going to be on December 9th. I will put the link in the description, and I'll also go ahead and add it here so that if you guys want to hop in and sign up, it's a free class. If you miss it, there are going to be replays, but all of the things that I'm talking about today and then some are actually going to be in an ebook. It's a gift that we're giving you guys with all the recipes. Not only are you guys going to be able to have this gift for yourself, but you're also going to be able to gift it to some of your loved ones. And sometimes giving a recipe is the perfect gift. But this right here is one of my favorite things to do this time of year. And you can only really come across cranberries this time of year. So if you have an abundance of them, grab them, pierce them, pour honey over top of it, and you will get a cranberry infused honey. This is just plain cranberry. But if you want to play around and do cinnamon or add in some ginger, I have been tickled and falling in love with not only herb infused honeys, but also fermenting things in honey. So a good cranberry infused honey is perfect with a hibiscus tea. Gosh, you could even add a little bit of spearmint. I mean, this right here alone, you know, one bag, you're going to make multiple jars. Put a little bow on it, mix it with a cup of tea. And I think that's what my tea is missing. I didn't add any honey into it. So that's what we need to do next. That's exactly what this tea needed, was a little bit of cranberry infused honey. I think this tea has been one of my latest obsessions that I have been enjoying on days that are gloomy, kind of just like this. But it has some of my favorite herbs in it. It has a combination of oolong tea, which is like a caffeinated green tea. I also love to add rooibos into it. So perfect for this flavor. It has butterfly pea, it has peppermint, it has oat straw, it has rose petals, it has a little bit of orange peel, but I think the part that's really like chef's kiss is I took vanilla bean and I cut it up and I put it into this tea blend. You can taste just a hint of vanilla, and so that combined with a little bit of that orange and oh my gosh, the cranberry honey, you guys, this is definitely become my latest obsession. The other homemade gifts that I absolutely adore are a good homemade salve. Now I love to take my oil, whatever herb infused oil that I have. This one's actually calendula, and I'll take my herb infused oil, let it sit for a month, but you can also kind of make it a little bit quicker by taking your oil and setting it in a bath of water, like if you have a crock pot, and let it sit for like 24 hours on just keep warm. Then you're gonna strain out your oil. But my favorite ratio is 1 cup of your herb infused oil to 1 ounce of your beeswax. I'll take my beeswax and I'll slowly heat it up. And then as soon as my beeswax is all liquidy, I'll turn it off, and then I'll add in my 1 cup of my oil. Stir it around, get it to where it's liquidy. You might have to turn the heat up just a hair, but you don't want to cook it. You don't want to boil it because you don't want to ruin all the properties that are in these lovely herbs like calendula. My hands are so dry, so this right here is perfect. But that 1 cup of your oil and 1 ounce of your beeswax could essentially make roughly little, I mean, depending on how heavy your hand is, my hand's a little bit heavy sometimes, but I'll get at least 5 of these little containers. They're 2-ounce tins. So that's 5 people that you can make a gift for at one time. And everybody could use a good salve. When I make salves, I make enough that everybody will have some. Top salves that I love to use are obviously calendula. I've also made a lavender, oh, here, it's actually here. I've done a lavender salve, which is great for sleep. So say I'm a little bit tired, I just need something. Again, that lavender is gonna promote relaxation. I also love St. John's wort as a salve. It's beautiful, it's rich, great for pain, helping with pain. I have done plantain. That's one of my favorites too, especially for bug bites, cracked skin, all of that. I've done a respiratory salve. A lot of my favorite salve recipes are actually in my book, The Beekeeper's Apothecary. I have a lot of tea recipes. I've got a lot of salves, a lot of tinctures, a lot of syrups, herb infused honeys. I mean, that alone, if you want to give somebody who wants to learn plant medicine a good gift, I would say my book is probably a good gift that that I'm sure that they would love. And I mean, that kind of leads to a whole nother realm. I actually, I host workshops here on our homestead at least once a month. And then I started offering them at our winery that's local. It's called Rotano Winery. And those are quick, quick couple hour classes. But the gift of experience, or the gift of learning a new hobby, or the gift of community, I think is another great, I mean, it's an experience. So I've had a lot of people who have hopped on my website and signed up for classes, which I'll be putting out more. I have one class coming up actually this weekend. And then I have another class in February where it's kind of just like an herbal spa day where we're gonna pamper ourselves. But I will be putting up more throughout the year, and we have a lot of fun. So I wanted to share that with you guys too, just because, sometimes that's a perfect gift idea. And I think those are the gifts that truly just kind of keep on giving. Here to show you one of my other favorite gifts, and I talked about this in one of my last videos, but I don't think I put this in, I don't think I shared this ebook with you guys, so I am going to add this one to the ebook, the gift guide. But if you have somebody who loves baking, making a homemade vanilla bean extract, I think, is one of my favorites. I mean, it is so good and so easy to do. You could use your vodka to be able to infuse your vanilla bean, or I've even been playing around with brandy. Now, my favorite recipe that I actually put together, and I actually used it the other day. I was making homemade eggnog over the fire, which I've got a good recipe there too. And that might have to be added into this ebook. But I made a chai spiced vanilla bean extract. These are the chai spices that I used. I used star anise, I used cinnamon, I used clove. My goodness, it was phenomenal. And some cardamom too. But I infused all of my herbs with my vanilla bean I used vodka for this last batch, made some homemade eggnog, added nutmeg. Oh, so wonderful. I think that has to go in there. Whether you have somebody that, just loves to bake, or somebody who loves to make homemade eggnog. I mean, there's like kill two birds with one stone kind of thing. But that, I think, is also a great gift idea. Another one that we started doing is I have all of my garden herbs that I harvested back in the summer. Now, these are freeze dried, but my goodness, you could just dehydrate them if you don't have a freeze dryer. And if you do have a freeze dryer, I think I have a video up and around. Best thing I think I ever invested in. But I started playing around with culinary herbs and blending my own spices. And we're gonna talk more about that if you keep following along this adventure of life here on the Honeystead. But just creating your own spice blend. My goodness, so simple and so easy. And I have found that when you do something yourself, just like a tea blend, okay? you're not gonna wanna go to the store anymore and buy a spice or buy a tea blend, because you're going to be able to tell the difference between the freshness. So more to come on that. Don't let the holiday season overwhelm you, and don't let the pressure of finding that perfect gift take away the joy of what this season is supposed to be. You know, it's friends, it's family, it's togetherness, and I understand. I am definitely one that struggled with finding that right gift until I started just making them. I think that goes just so much further. I do hope to see you guys on the free live workshop. I think it is going to be an absolute blast. Again, I will make sure to put that link in the description, and then I'll pin it up top. And if you can't make it to the live, don't worry, there's going to be a replay. And this is where you're gonna get this wonderful ebook. I am so excited. We are putting this all together for you guys. We're gonna have a blast. I hope to see you all soon. And yeah, as always, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and learn something old. Bye guys.